Heyo.
So, yes, what is up on this beautiful Sunday Eve for Mother's Day? I'm calling this Sunday Eve.
Sunday Eve, because the Sunday is Mother's Day. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh, I'm still
well,
trying to plan that out.
yeah, probably, I know my father's coming up. He wants to take me and my mom out for like, I guess, out to eat.
Sounds nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to go to this place called Rock South. They got some really nice stuff, nice, good looking stuff on their menu. So,
Oh, okay. I want to do
yeah,
that too. I want to go
gotta
out
make
and
a
eat.
reservation, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, yeah.
Mother's Day, oh my gosh. If you ever worked in a restaurant, that is like the busiest day ever.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
For Mother's Day? There's no other
Yeah.
busier day?
Yeah, busier than Father's Day. Father's Day was like a ghost town, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to go to I want to go out and eat. I want to do massages. I want to do facials. I want to do stuff like that. I just
Yeah,
don't know if it's going to happen.
that's what I'm on. I seen like this I was walking in downtown Decatur yesterday when I went to go pick up my eggs and my oxtail from my local farmer.
Uh-huh.
And so I seen that they had like this small little massage place. They had like big, huge bags of like Epsom salt, like 50-pound bags. And they was like that they do like uh floating massages or something like that. I forget. It was interesting, but it was like
Mhm.
$99 for the special of Mother's Day, So
Mhm.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds interesting. It sounds good too. My back could definitely use it. I've been working on my back, lower back a lot lately, so it needs that
Yeah.
extra special loving care.
Mhm. Anything you spend during this week is a Mother's Day gift to yourself. So, don't feel
I
guilty.
know, I know, right? So yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, get my nails done. It's a Mother's Day gift. Get my eyebrows done. Mother's Day gift.
I have spoken my.
It's okay.
I
Going out
did
to
want to
eat.
get
Mother's Day
one of my
gift."
eyebrows microbladed though,
Mhm.
but I'm not gonna do that.
I think getting it done for me is enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they grown out. Every
yeah.
time I look in the mirror, I'm like, let me just lick them smooth.
You know, when I use like the pen, use the little pencil to to darken it, it looks fine. And then I have like this other
Mhm.
stuff that I gotta like for it to really take. I have to leave it on for like 2 hours,
Mhm.
but it's supposed to last up to 7 days. But that thing be going on like one.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah,
well.
they need to work on the staying power. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about, but I
I
figure it disappears real quick
I don't see them promoting it anymore.
because probably people complaining like you about it.
I wasn't really complaining. I was just saying, what they're advertising is not true, That it stays
Mhm.
off for 7 days. Like, no, it don't. You got to keep adding in and like not wash your face. And I'm definitely washing my face.
Washing my face.
There's no nothing when that no compromise for that.
Yeah, it's. I think people think, oh, they won't wash their face, it won't go away. They know it. I'm like, no, we gotta wash our faces. We put more than just eyebrow tattoo on. We're putting makeup on and shit like that. Shit
Yeah,
gotta
just
come
being
off.
out in this environment.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
man, this weekend I had a pretty lazy weekend. Just going to the farmer, walking to like a some type of fair or street fair. It had a lot of
Mhm.
artwork and just jewelry and all types of stuff. And
Mhm.
some food places. Of course, they gotta have the food places. And
Okay.
pretty crowded out there.
Yeah, my family, well, my kids and I went out with my mom and we just went for a walk around her area. And it was nice and hot, really, really hot, dry hot. Like if somebody like snapped their fingers, it would have created a forest fire. Kind of hot. It was so hot.
Dry hot. Oh man, y'all needed some coconut water and all that to rehydrate you.
Yeah, we didn't have any water, so I was like, you know what, we got to go back because this is not good. It was so hot. It was like I didn't expect it to be this hot this weekend, honestly, because the forecast would say, oh, it's going to be warm, and then it's raining 10 years and flooding and cold, and like this is not what they said it was going to be. They lied, but it really turned out that way, and then some. So it was a pretty hot weekend. Yeah, and then I
Mm-mm-mm.
went for a walk this morning, and I took a really long walk, and I think it exhausted me. So
Aw.
yeah, it's all good.
I've been, I've been
It was a good
exhausted.
walk. I was taking pictures
Uh,
of flowers. I wanted to post it on Facebook. And I was just taking pictures of like my neighborhood's flowers and stuff like that. I was like, oh, it's so
aw.
pretty, but I fell asleep, so I didn't even get a chance to post that. Yeah. So
Definitely took a lot out of you.
it certainly did.
But man, so we had the Wine Fine Podcast, episode 29.
Yeah,
Take health
29.
advice from Bill Gates. Very
Yeah.
nice
I
topic
feel like
here.
if he was qualified, I really would, but
And
nah.
when you say qualified, what would be like the criteria that you would say that would
Like
justify him as being qualified?
if he had any degree in health or
Nutrition,
nutrition or any of that stuff. I mean, I only know him for being a philanthropist, a person who created Microsoft, you
created.
know.
Mm,
Well, I don't know. I'm putting air quotes around created if that makes you feel better. So,
yes.
but he's a part of Microsoft, and that's the way I view him. So I don't see him, you know. I'd take advice from anybody else before him on when it comes to health advice. That's all I'm saying. If he like I said in the post, if he was talking about the Windows 11 and why it keeps on hounding me to update my computer to Windows 11 and explain to me what's so great about it, I would listen to that before I
Right.
listen to him about health advice. That's all I'm saying.
Mm. Hey, makes
You know.
sense. Definitely makes sense. But before we get into like the real nitty gritty of our show's topic today, Azima, where can
Mm-hmm.
everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Azima the Only. That's Azima the Only, and you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as OZD Wellness and Fitness. That's OZIDI Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
And yes, you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Camp Jogo Fit. That is KampJogoFit. And you can also subscribe to our Wine Fine Podcast YouTube channel as well to catch up with older episodes with the links involved that we discuss within the episodes. So,
Okay.
man, um, the video attached today, we got Joe Rogan, speaking on like, Bill Gates and how, he's pushing this agenda and everything. And if you didn't get a chance to look at the video yet, I'm just going to go ahead and play it. We're going to discuss it along with just discussing what also is included in the ingredients for these plant-based fake meats that he is pushing.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Our consumption of meat has to be healthy, and then we're going to get used to these meat alternatives. When a guy like that says that, I'm like, are you making money because of this? Like, why are you saying that? And by the way, you look like, cause if you're eating those plant-based burgers or whatever the fuck you're doing, like, you're obese. Like, a guy like that telling people about he's got these breasts and this gut, and I'm like, this is crazy. You're one of the richest guys on earth. You have access to the best nutrients, the best. You could have an amazing trainer. You could be in phenomenal shape, and you're giving out public health advice. You're giving out health advice, and you're sick.
Yeah. He, I was kind of wary of getting like health advice from him because I remember when right around the time when this like pandemic first started, I remember
Mhm.
seeing him, you know, was trying to tell people, oh, y'all need to go get this jab or whatever and stuff. It's not gonna hurt. And then he had like a syringe in his hand and
Mhm.
just like looking at it with like this deviant stare and everything. And it's just like, wow, like how you go from suggesting computer programs, you know, from computer programming to an expert on whether people should get vaccinations. And now here we are, this
Mm. Dealing with
fake
food.
agenda.
Mhm. Yeah.
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 So mad.
Like it's odd. I think a lot of people were feeling that way during that time period about a lot of the celebrities who were doing commercials who didn't who they weren't qualified to be telling somebody what to do, but they were doing it. So a lot of people felt that way, and not only about him, but like the whole time, everyone was telling you, "Oh, you need to do it. It's the best and the safest thing for you," and stuff like that. And
No, trust me.
it's a little unsettling because it's like, who are these people?
Yeah, trust me, I know. Like, I think a lot. I
Yeah.
think with me, like the people I came across, that's a real personal question to be asking somebody. But a lot of
Hmm.
people just felt the need that, they need to ask that. I remember there was this chiropractor I was going to. At first, he was, on the side of not getting the vaccination, and then all of a sudden, he was like, "Oh, I got that vaccination. You should probably get it too," because I'm like, no, I'm not getting that shit.
Hmm.
I've always felt like there should be the dividing groups of people to see who was right and who was wrong, And
Yeah,
so,
that would be normal.
yeah, so no, we're not gonna like just mass give this to everybody. So,
Exactly.
but now here's this fool, you know, pushing these plant-based burgers and stuff. Before we get into like this food safety Center for Food Safety.org article that I came across, let's grab this comment right here.
He's trying
Hmm.
to program us to think that we need what he says we need.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically,
that is so
it's just
true.
yeah,
I guess it was
like you
sort of
said, it
like back.
started off as. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I guess it was back, sort of back like in like the early 1900s and stuff when Rockefeller, he had no expertise in medicine, but he was telling people, hey,
Excuse
start
me.
doing petroleum based medicines and stuff and not have people, using weed like they've been doing for their
Hmm.
medicine. So,
Yeah.
and then lo and behold, you got the birth of prescription drugs. And it's like, here we are again, history like repeating itself. But
Well, everything repeats itself in like 100-year cycle.
yeah. Yeah, it's about that time, huh?
It is about that time. Yeah.
It is that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Very much.
So this article I came across from Center for Food Safety.org. So they're talking about, the impossible meat, you know.
Hmm.
So our beef with the GMO impossible burger, right? From my understanding, I could have sworn that GMO is not a good thing. So it's like, why are you eating a GMO impossible burger?
Hmm.
So So this company stated that their burger is juicier, tastier, and more nutritious, featuring less than 40% saturated fat than the old recipe, and just as much protein as an 80-20 ratio of ground beef from cows. The new product is also gluten free, replacing wheat with soy protein. Unfortunately, the Impossible Burger may be too good to be true. So we encourage consumers to eat less meat and choose plant-based proteins. And we believe that replacing conventional animal products with ultra-processed, poorly studied, and underregulated genetically engineered products is not the solution to our factory farm and climate crisis. So before we even get into the science to back that up, let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about soy and how it gives men the titties. I mean, because if you look at um, Bill
Why
Gates,
you had to say it like that?
he get
It
the.
gives men the titty.
I'm just because I'm thinking of that Class Act, the movie, The Class Act, and
You
when
got me lifting my titties right now. It give men the
when
titty.
when Kid's character was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, the titty," and that was the girl's name. That's what he called her by
To
mistake.
titty.
But
To titty.
yeah, so here they are pushing, these plant-based proteins and everything, and you see for yourself, Bill Gates, he's pushing this agenda, and you can see in the video that's posted on here, he can stand to wear like a B cup bra, so
I
or
say
A
A.
cup. Hey,
Yeah.
okay, I'm exaggerating. Maybe a A. Yes, you're right.
The titty don't hang yet. It's like, starter titties.
He started titties.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bee
that's what's
stings.
happening.
Bee stings.
These things, yeah. So here
Yeah.
they are, like pushing this out there, and
Hmm.
ultimately, he wants to do this for population control.
Nah, he said he wants to do this because the world is hungry.
Yeah,
And
right.
he sees a future in GMO foods, genetically modified foods. That's the only way you're gonna be able to cure the population hunger by the year 2030, according to him.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
let's get into what these ingredients, these extra ingredients are. One very important one that I did seem important to bring up here is the second kind of genetic engineering of soy products. Soy produces the heme that makes the
Hmm.
Impossible Burger bleed. So it's like
What?
they just trying to do all the things that you can do with meat. Now, disclaimer, I'm not telling anybody in here that you should eat meat. You do whatever works for your body. But
Just don't eat that.
yeah, they're out here trying to mimic what's already natural in nature or what's naturally
Hmm.
occurring. So
Hmm.
in order to manufacture these burgers, Impossible Meat takes DNA from the roots of soy plants, where a small amount of heme is produced, and inserts it into genetically engineered yeast that is then fermented to mass produce heme. This is the first
Hmm.
that people have consumed this product. The USDA um, is supposed to require testing in this situation to make sure that a novel protein does not contain any allergic reactions in people. Unfortunately, instead of requiring Impossible Foods to file a new food additive petition, the FDA allowed this company to use a weak regulatory process called generally recognized as safe, where the company does its own research and chooses its own reviewers to self certify that its product is safe for human consumption.
Hmm. That's like getting an abatement on your house, and
You
then the
know?
company you're trying to get rid of the asbestos in your house, but then you have another company that's supposed to be an outside company check to make sure that asbestos is not in the air, but it's their company that they're sending to check and make sure that. So they're gonna say no, there's no asbestos in your air, and then you go and buy the house, and next thing you know, you're tearing up your lungs with asbestos.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
basically you have the same person regulating themselves and saying everything is a-okay.
And why would you believe that?
I wouldn't, but
I
can you?
wouldn't, because I know when these things first came out, like I read the labels on things, so I was just interesting just to see, okay, well, what are these plant based stuff made of? And when I seen
Mm-hmm.
like all these like omega-6 oils that's in there, I'm like, how is this healthier than eating like meat? How?
Mm-hmm.
So
Meat
maybe.
only has one ingredient, so it's just meat, salt, pepper. We
So
got
let's
three
go ahead
comments.
and let's grab these comments.
Because human beings don't learn. They keep repeating the same stupid mistakes over and over.
Bless me.
Yeah, man, because here we are. We got like the modern day age Rockefeller here trying to,
Yeah, basically. It's, wow. That's, I mean, like, we just, people are just realizing how much, like you said, Rockefeller affected the culture of America.
right,
You know what I mean? The Fords, how they affected the culture of America.
right.
And now we're having like these new Rockefellers doing practically the same thing, but it's kind
Exactly.
of worse because it's not affecting like just our mental health and the how we live. It's affecting how our bodies our bodies period, you
I tell
know.
you, I know my butt. I've been doubling up on real butter lately in light of all this information. But let's
Hmm.
grab some more comments here.
Are these foods from his farms that he produced from his farms?
We're gonna get to that.
Nay, oh my gosh, man. You wouldn't believe how much farmland this sucker owns, man.
And how much people are buying it not knowing that they're buying it.
Man, it's like
Yeah.
just disgusting. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
let's grab this comment here from Jeffrey Dahmer.
Should we take health advice from Bill Gates? Bro, do you not see how much money that nigga got? You talking health advice. Yo, do you not see how much money this nigga got, bro? And you talking about some, should we take health advice from him? Fuck yeah, bro. He's not rich. He's wealthy as fuck. You know how many Snickers this nigga could buy if he want? Yo, nigga go inside the store. Yo, security. Go to the manager. Yo, I want to buy the store for like until I get done grocery shopping. Yo, we talking about that type of money. Bro, I don't give a fuck. This nigga told me to eat some doo-doo off the ground. I'm doing that shit, bro. I'm doing it. Nigga wealthy
No,
as fuck.
So in
that's
other
not
words,
right.
you can be bought. They not calling you a hoe, but they always do say that every hoe has a price. So, point duly noted and taken. So yeah,
I know I can understand why somebody would say do it because somebody's a rich billionaire says to do it, but you know the rich billionaire is still gonna be rich billionaire, and you're gonna be just eating shit. It's not like he's
yeah.
handing out money, you know.
And
He
the
just.
sad part is, one of my first like clients in personal training and stuff, I came
Mhm.
across, her not too long ago, and she told me that she was going to a funeral of somebody that, she was very dear to and everything. And
Mhm.
they ended up starting to eat like from Slutty Vegan and stuff. Now Slutty Vegan over here, she's been getting really big, and I think she even has like a store somewhere in New York too. Well,
Mhm.
restaurant. She pushes a lot of those fake meats, use the Beyond Meat Impossible burgers. Because I used to, when I started hearing more and more about, her
Mhm.
and the business, because a lot of people talking about it, I would look at the ingredients and I'd be like, are y'all seriously eating this? And the line for her, like, I'm happy that, she definitely has a nice successful business. But at what
Mhm.
cost? The lines used to be around the corner, and you know, using these plant-based proteins, these things that got heme in it from soybean. But let's grab this comment, and then we're gonna get into what is heme and where can you find heme.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jeffrey Dahmer just came on here trolling or something. Nah, people don't got anything else to do. Might have to block him next time coming here talking foolishness. So, they mentioned that you could get heme from living cells.
Yes.
So, what is heme for vegans? All living cells in plants and animals contain heme, which is a group of molecules that contain iron. It is the key
Okay.
part of protein called hemoglobin and
Mm.
help with many important processes, including oxygen transportation.
I
What do
thought
you?
heme sound familiar. Hemoglobin.
Yeah,
Okay, go on.
but now you tickled my fancy. What is hemoglobin and where can you find it? More
Yes.
specifically, though, it is hemoglobin in red blood cells.
Mm.
Hemoglobin contains iron, which it allows to pick up oxygen from the air we breathe and deliver it everywhere in the body. You can think of hemoglobin as iron in parentheses, heme,
Uh huh.
oxygen transport protein globin found in red blood cells. So
Okay. Who has
I'm
red blood
sorry,
cells?
y'all thinking the way how I'm thinking about this whole thing here.
I feel like we're going down a rabbit hole of a human vein or a living vein with hemoglobin and red blood cells and oxygen, and it don't sound plant based. But go ahead,
Not
you
at
can.
all.
It don't sound plant based to me, but go on.
And then, I also came across this link from Canada, the government of Canada, where they're talking about the ingredient that's found in simulated meat product and other ground beef analogs, which is soy leg hemoglobin. Uh,
Okay.
this this shit just sounds like just terrible, terrible, terrible. So let's talk about the manufacturing of this. It consists
Wait,
of
wait, wait.
controlled.
Is the hemoglobin and the soy hemoglobin the same hemoglobin, or are they saying the hemoglobin's coming from the soy?
They're saying that it comes from the soy.
Ah, okay.
But it was interesting. I mean, I never cooked Impossible Burger. Is it supposed to? When you say bleed, I automatically imagine bleeding like blood,
Like bleeding,
and it's
like
like
blood. Yeah.
red. So
Hmm.
it's like the Impossible meat, the red colors. So it's like, what are you putting with the soy? Because I've never seen a red soybean. Have you guys?
No, no. Every soy I've ever seen looked
Like pale
white.
and white or like off
Yeah.
white and shit, right?
Hmm. Tofu,
So.
white. You put food coloring to make it look like scrambled eggs or whatever the hell you want to make. You put the food coloring to give it that look, you know. But I've never
Mhm.
seen it. I've never seen red soybean.
Yeah, I
No.
like. I'm like, what? Now I would believe you if if it was some type of if you was using like beets or something,
Yeah, I believe it too.
Like
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
I'm
like,
like
oh,
okay,
beets. Okay, that explains it. That makes sense.
yeah, but it's like you told me you get some soybeans, so that kind of puts the hairs of the ears up. Like what the heck? Let's grab this comment here.
Perks up the ear.
If it doesn't have bones and skin on it, or veins, I wouldn't eat it.
Well, here's the
Well,
funny thing.
but the thing is, if you're vegan, you shouldn't eat it if that's what your life is. But the direction of the heme, which means hemoglobin, red blood cells moving oxygen to what I've never known soybeans to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man.
We, okay, go on.
Well, Carol mentioned she won't eat bones. You know they have faux bones now. Remember that video I shared a while back of the girl that made a fried
She wrapped.
chicken. She
Yeah, she
wrapped
made a.
bean curd. She
Mhm.
wrapped bean curd around a faux bone and dipped it in oil and with grease and fake egg and fried it up like it was like a piece of fried chicken. Like,
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
oh my
she looked
God.
happy.
No, she didn't. She looked unhappy as hell. Her
She
face
looked.
was She was not happy. She had such a poker face of just dissatisfaction.
Mm, wasn't what she was expecting. You think?
Well, no, of course not. There's just something about,
I don't know.
I
If
don't
I
know.
if I was avoiding meat, I wouldn't want to try to make duplicate meat because then I'd be disappointed with the meat that I'm eating because it's not meat, and then I'll end up eating meat, and then like, what was the point? Oh,
What,
yeah,
like vegan oxtails
yeah, like that.
and vegan, vegan shrimp and vegan crab cakes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I just don't
Like
see the point of torturing yourself by comparing it to something that you're never gonna eat again.
There, a
It's
lot of times there was a point where there was like a lot of vegan stuff just coming across my in my algorithm and everything.
mm-hmm,
So whenever
mm-hmm.
I came across somebody who didn't, try to give their vegetables another name and stuff, I always give them their props. So when they say that, yeah, I made some fried oyster mushrooms, I'll be like,
Yeah,
just
I like
great.
it when they're specific.
Right. I
Yeah,
say to them, I comment on their thing, thank you for so much for saying fried mushrooms and not vegan fried chicken. And then they would laugh they would laugh because, I'm like, I
well,
appreciate the honesty, you
it's
know?
it's duplicatable. If you said you were going to
Yeah.
use a specific kind of mushroom to get, to have like
Right.
that chicken texture or something like that, then I would say,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to go and get that. What's that big mushroom that looks like it's feathery? And when you cook it,
Oyster.
it has oyster. Okay, so if you say I'm
Yeah.
using oyster mushrooms, I'm like, I really want to try mushrooms. But when you just say it's vegan,
Fried
whatever,
chicken.
it's like, okay, how can I duplicate this? I don't want that because I don't know what that is. But I know what a mushroom is. I know I can go find it in the store. I can go get it fresh, whatever the case may be. But you take the option away from me when you just say it's vegan, something that it's not. That's
You
all
know
I'm
what,
saying.
hey, I definitely hear you. You know
Hmm.
what movie what series I end up watching again in light of, this episode?
I know what you watched. Go ahead.
Yes. So I watched Utopia.
Uh huh.
And if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend going on Amazon and watching that because it's almost like you could look at it. I like how they try to paint it like there's a lot of geeks in there that love like the comic book world and everything. But there's
Hmm.
like other subtle stuff in there that could make you go, by what we're currently experiencing in our world today. Like,
Yeah.
just a little brief synopsis of the movie. The CEO of this particular company, he came off as like this carbon footprint guy riding his bike to his office and everything. But
Yeah.
here, manufacturing this fake meat to feed to the kids in school and everything. And
Hmm.
when he was interviewed on so what happens to these kids in such and such town, he didn't want to speak on it because the kids transitioned and everything in the series.
Hmm.
But also with this fool trying to manufacture meat and feed it to kids, he also had like his vaccine as well that he was trying to give to everybody to depopulate the population.
Hmm. To create a
I,
utopia, a perfect
I
world.
mean, yeah.
Less people, more food. You know.
But we don't need more food. We just need to eat quality food,
Hmm.
There's all this stuff in here. Like, where are you saying that the McDonald's French fries?
Yes. And they get it from Bill Gates. He has the potatoes that McDonald's uses.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes. McDonald's French fries has about 22 ingredients, and when the French fries are potatoes, they get a specific potato. I forgot what kind of potato it is, but the goal is to have perfect potatoes with no excuse me, I'm doing laundry. Perfect potatoes with no scarring on it. So they use a chemical to prevent the scarring. And that chemical that they put on the potatoes, they store in a building and stay away from it for 5 months
Yeah.
before, say 5 months or 5 weeks, but they stay away from it just so they don't get sick from it themselves.
And they
And
gotta
then
wear
they go
protective gear.
exactly. So and then they feed it to you guys, whoever buys McDonald's fries. So, they the process of eating these GMO, these genetically modified things, it's costing your health,
Yeah.
you know. So
And
I
honestly,
find
that's
that.
why people have like all this, health issues because all this like stuff that they, these pesticides, and it's like, why are you putting a chemical on potatoes where I'm not supposed to be in that same area for like 5 weeks or 5 months? That's just
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, and then we're
Like, why?
digesting it.
At least
The-
maybe digesting it. And you probably wonder why
uh,
people are having these health issues, why they're having these mixed emotions when they're eating, because all this stuff is going through your nervous system and, it's just not
mhm.
natural for your body. Your body is probably like just reacting. That's probably why people are having all this inflammation in their body. People are having like this so high, cholesterol and everything. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary. I feel for people. I don't tell people what to put in their mouth, what to eat. I do weep when I do see people eating fast food. I'm like, oh my gosh, poor babies. But
Mm-mm.
that's me. I can't remember the last time I ate some, so I'm kind of good.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
try to avoid McDonald's because it's just like one crazy thing after another between pink slime burgers, and then you got these French fries with more ingredients than just salt and pepper and potato.
yeah,
It's very concerning. And then they feed it to you with no problem, with no concern. And I just find that's a little scary to
it
just
is
not give a
scary.
fuck and give it to you like that. That's all. Like
Mm-mm-mm.
here, mm, you
Yeah,
know.
and then they're pretty much attacking us from all angles. So that's why, like, it's kind of like disheartening when you see people online debating with other people whether you should be eating meat or not, or be a
Mhm.
vegan and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I know one of my Facebook friends made a post yesterday, um, talking about, oh, all this meat, a percentage of this meat has like human remains in it, whatever. And so I made a comment. I was like, I'm glad I get my meat from a trusted farmer. I've been,
Mhm.
pretty much doing that for years. And I tell you, it definitely tastes different, especially when they're talking about 70% of the meat contains that pink slime of what you find in the stores.
Are you talking
I
about
tell you,
the grounded beef?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing that a lot with that meat. And I remember there was a time where I was like, a long time ago, I was making some like ground beef or whatever that I got from like a store. And it's
Mhm.
like it was like the grease was coming out, but it's like the seasoning that you would try to put on the meat,
Wouldn't
like it
stick.
would like it wouldn't stick. It would just be like in the pan with the grease and stuff. So it was like the grease, the
Mhm.
seasoned grease, and then the meat. So it didn't like gel right. So that was
Mhm.
probably where the start of them kind of like just having that fake, that whatever they're doing with that meat,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
and
My
then-
my husband no longer buys from the supermarket. He goes to a butcher, and the butcher goes to a local farm to buy all his meat. And that's how my husband's been buying his meat lately. When it
yeah,
comes to
good.
oxtails, even pig feet is from local. Everything's local now. Like
You have to
he
do that.
just it wasn't specifically because of what it was because of how it was cooking. It
Yeah,
wasn't cooking right, and he was like, this is weird. Why isn't that cooking? Why are my chicken legs so thick? And he didn't
yeah,
like that. Like, why are the chicken wings so freaking humongous?
yeah,
It just
man.
like it wasn't cooking right for him. Or in reference to the beef and the seasonings not mixing well. That was like all his complaints. He was like, I don't know if I should buy the meat from here anymore, or they don't, the way they cut the meat is wrong. And he just, every time he was cooking something, it was a complaint on how it was. So he started going to the butcher, and I haven't heard him complain ever again. Like he just I think when you don't know your meat, you don't notice the problem.
Right.
And I think us as a nation, we're just so used to just purchasing and trusting where we get our stuff from that we don't
Nah.
know that we're being duped, and that these things are being pumped full of hormones, and these chicken thighs are looking like they've been doing squats with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Like it just is we're not noticing something's wrong, until another outbreak of mad cow disease happens. So that's when we'll wait and say, oh, we're not eating this anymore,
Yeah,
or we're
because
not
I
going to buy
know.
from there anymore. Like, we really should be trying to support those people who are local, because everything the way Bill Gates has a chokehold on the farming industry, we're eating his shit and not knowing it.
Scary.
We're eating his vegetables. He has carrot farms. He has, let me look at this. He has carrots, onions, and French fries, which is the
Uh,
potato farms. And he supplies those French fries, those potatoes, to McDonald's. And we're just eating it. We're eating, like that
I
guy
tell
said, we're
you.
eating the shit. We're eating the shit. We're
I'll
just
tell you
eating the
one thing
shit.
for sure. Like all that stuff you mentioned tastes way different when you get it from a farmer. Like I
Mhm.
remember the first time like I had a like potato from a farmer. I was just, oh
Mhm.
my God, this does not taste like the stuff in the store. The
Mhm.
milk, when you get it straight from the farmer and it's not going through the pasteurized process. When I gave it to my mom before, she was like, I remember this tasting like milk when I was a little girl. This is what milk tastes like when I was a little girl, not
Mhm.
this, this water they have today. Cause there are definitely kill enzymes in there that help us to digest dairy through the
Mhm.
pasteurization process. So, I I think ultimately we just have to make the conscious effort to know where our food is coming from, because we just gave them way too much power to the point where
Yes.
it's like they're going to
Well,
take all they can from us as far as the pockets, and then they're going to make more by funneling people through the medical industry.
yeah, well, I mean, they're all that every all those people who have their hands in, they have their hands in both pots, and it's like the people who make round off are also the people who make heart medication.
Oh
The two
God.
two of them shouldn't be in the same building. They shouldn't be apart, but they are. Like I said, you can't get rid of asbestos and say, oh, the asbestos is out of the building or out of your house, and then send the same company to go say, oh, there's no asbestos in the air. It's done. You're good to
Hmm.
go. You can't have the same entity serving you the same two different products, and you're agreeing with it. You're just gonna say, "Oh, I'll eat the shit," yeah, because if they're billionaires or not, all they're gonna do is stay billionaires while you're eating shit until you die.
Mm-mm-mm.
And do you really want to do that to yourself, or do you want some
Nope.
kind of control over what happens to you by saying, "No, I'm not gonna eat this shit, and I'm gonna get my own company to check this asbestos." I'm just using an analogy, but you as the consumer are supposed to you know check these things, and we're not doing it. We're not checking anything anymore. We're just like, okay, you know he says that I have a heart problem, I'm just going to take heart pills. I'm glad that people are deciding to make those changes and change their diet, but it's not everybody. There's still people suffering because they're just willing to eat the shit you know
Yeah, very sad. That just hurts my heart
and
when
they
I
know
see
it too.
when I see a man talk about eating an impossible burger or a Beyond Meat. I'm like, oh God. Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing that to yourself?
And how you gonna eat meat that has all those ingredients? And
It's like,
I thought the whole point of being vegan was because you wanted to be clean. So if you're eating something that is made to make it look like something else, and you're gonna eat it because okay, I'm vegan, I don't want to eat a real chicken, so I'm gonna eat something that looks like a chicken by wrapping this thing around the chicken, frying it, and then eating it as if I'm eating the chicken. Then you're adding too many steps to something that's supposed to be simple.
delusional.
Yeah, I mean, like veganism is supposed to be simple. Like eating simple vegetables, simple proteins from something that's plant based, right? But if
Right.
you're eating something that's made from plant based to be something that looks like it's not plant based, but it is, then you're adding to it. You're adding to something that didn't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went through all that heartache.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that heartache, and then like you still get sick, or it's just it defeats the purpose.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. It's
we
just
got
be a shame.
comments.
Yeah, let's grab it.
Trusting the government to protect our foods made us lazy.
Yeah, we can't be trusting the government with our foods at all. Can't even trust them with our water.
Yeah, from what I heard from Michigan, still doesn't have clean water. So I mean, what's the and it's not even the government that's doing this. It's people who have the power to dictate the people's future,
Hmm.
and the government is okay with that because they're bringing money to the government. You know, that's all. That's the reason why these things are happening. They're gonna, like that kid said, I'm gonna listen to him because he has the money. And I feel like government does the same thing. They have the money, so they're gonna let them serve you these carrots, onions, and French fries that are genetically modified, that have all these pesticides and things to prevent, um, you know, injury to the vegetable, to make it look perfect. And then after they do all the cleansing of those things, you're eating it because you're trusting somebody who has money.
Nope. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
So
thank you at all.
that's it.
He does
I'm
not
sure
look.
I'm sure that kid's not the only one that would think that way though.
He does not look like the pinnacle of health, and I
Mm-mm.
think he was just trolling.
Okay. Regardless of trolling, I'm sure he said what he said. I don't think he would change his point of view on it.
Uh,
He sees things you know from a mindset where he has nothing and Bill Gates has everything, and if he is providing something to him, he's going to take it. You
mm,
know,
no,
and
thank
Bill Gates knows it. The rich know it. You know,
you. It's
that's it.
programmed
That's
people enough
basically it.
because I know there was a point where I used to always be seeing these dang plant-based ads, and I'm like, I've like never been a freaking vegan. Why is these
But
ads coming
I
up?
think your lifestyle says I'm vegan, even though you're not. People always confuse you for being vegan. I think it's because they assume that's what you do to look
Well,
the way you look.
they do say you are what you eat. So if I do eat a cow that eats grass, technically I'm eating a vegan,
You
so that
eating
would make
grass?
me a vegan, right?
I guess so. Yes.
I'm
So.
like, no, I'm not a vegan. Like, that's not gonna take, um, you're not gonna use my body as a example as a vegan or whatever. So,
Mhm.
but then
Yeah.
there's a lot of 300. You ever seen those 300-pound vegans?
Yeah. There's
Oh
people
my
who,
God.
but that's the body saying I need meat, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
protect myself by holding on to all this weight until you give me something that makes me feel like I'm
Makes
surviving.
You know what? Matter of fact, it makes me think about Lizzo. I remember I was watching a video of her. Somebody did like a a reaction video to her eating like this 3,000 calorie breakfast vegan sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It was just painful to look at. I mean, she had like this like two pieces of like this vegan sausage and then like
Mm-hmm.
this vegan cauliflower hash browns. She used like two of them. All the stuff together like added up to 3,000 calories once she was like sitting there feeding her face eating it. And I just like,
Yeah. Yeah. The body will do whatever it takes to protect itself. And when it feels like you're not eating what it needs, it's gonna hold on to
putting a
whatever it
famine mode.
can. Yeah. So it's very interesting what the body will do to it'll keep fat. Just it's like a pregnant woman. You know, it's like, oh, she's pregnant. Let's add some thighs to her. Let's add some this and that because we need to feed this baby. We need to stay alive, and it's gonna do whatever it takes to stay alive. And yeah. The human body is though you might think opposite, the body is always in self-preservation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I'm slimmer the more meat I eat. So
I'm like, she don't need this fat. She's
yeah,
doing what she's supposed to do. Yeah, no, that's what the body is saying. You know, the body don't even know you exist. It's just saying, look, we need to live, and this lady's somebody's eating something, right? So let's unload this weight. We don't need this. So
so
yeah.
we definitely bring this up, for everybody, not to, tell you, oh, don't be vegan. If you're gonna be vegan, but be one of those vegans that eat, you know, that don't make fake meats, plant-based meats and stuff, because that's when, you know,
It's kind of like an oxymoron. Like, why are you worrying about replacing meat? Why are you doing that? Like, it don't make any sense.
man,
Like,
I get it.
yeah,
Hmm.
go ahead. I no,
Now I
I was
get if
just
you want to
saying that
invest a bit, yeah.
people are afraid of how meat looks, so they're not gonna duplicate meat. There's a whole reason why people are vegans. So it's not always because some of them literally have an issue with meat. Like they don't like the veins and they don't like the texture and stuff like that. So they've been that way since childhood. So they're not gonna try to find a chicken bone and try to make it. I mean, something that looks like a chicken and eat it. Then they would never do that.
Yeah, I
You
appreciate
know?
those vegans. Not just
Yeah.
not the ones that, want to talk about vegan meatloaf, you know?
Yeah.
No, not meat.
It's not
It's
me.
a
Why are you even
loaf.
saying that?
It's a loaf, but it's not meat. Definitely don't make it with that impossible meat. And it'd be so sad when they be having like a lot of these influencers, pushing them plant-based meats. I'm like, oh God. Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
there was one, I didn't follow her, but she was one of those like influencers that like really pushed, being snatched, and her race was really, really small, but then she was talking about, oh, don't eat no pancakes, don't eat no waffles, don't eat no bacon, no turkey bacon. But she was cooking up something with like some impossible meat. So it was just like, oh
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So solutions, we, definitely want to talk about the solutions. If you
Okay.
are going to eat meat, get with your trusted farmer. All you have to do is basically, find out where your local farmers markets are, where they come out, so you could build a relationship with them and gather their contact info. A lot of them will like come from their farms like once a month, with people just buying stuff. I know there's two farmers that I pretty much order from now consistently, and
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you that it just I get eggs. Like eggs just taste so different from them in the store. That's why when people were complaining about the price of eggs, I was like, I always pay $6 a dozen for my eggs, so it was just like
Mm-hmm.
how expensive did eggs get, from the store.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't tripping because I got my egg connect for years
Yeah.
now.
Honestly, I think that things would be less complicated if we were some more supportive to somebody local, because then
Yeah.
they'll know people are coming. A lot of things won't go to waste because they know people in their area is going to them for their stuff, instead of
Right.
going to the supermarket where things are shipped from California, and there's a, they have their own crisis over there where it's just the amount of food is dwindling coming to our direction, and I think vice versa. So if we just support what's local to us, there wouldn't be a food shortage, there wouldn't be food waste, you know things won't be expiring as they're being transported, things
Yeah.
will last longer. So
We got to get on our green thumbs too.
yeah, and maybe we might have to start doing it for ourselves.
Oh
Little
yeah.
little gardens, getting our own little chickens and stuff like that, or neighborhood kind of thing. I know they do that in New York City. They have like little neighborhoods where they have the gardens, rooftop gardens, and people in the neighborhood go there to get their vegetables and stuff like that. So um, I don't know if they do that around your way in Georgia.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They
They
definitely
do.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. Not where I'm at, but I've seen them, the community gardens over here before. I'm so happy
Mm-hmm.
my okra is finally growing out.
Okay.
So happy.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my peach tree. It's still not mature to get peaches out of
Oh.
it. Yeah, still baby.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's doing good. It's thriving. So I'm just I
Right.
want to do more. I want to do more. My mom, she has chickens. I would love to
Yes.
have chickens. Yeah. So.
Hey, you have more than enough area for it. You
Yeah,
got your
yeah,
gate, so you don't have to worry about them going out.
exactly.
Just get you a
Yeah.
little coop for them to go in at night.
Mhm.
Have them roam around, eat those good old worms to nourish the eggs and everything.
Mhm. Yeah,
Get it
it would be
nice and
nice.
orange. A nice orange yolk.
They're complaining about being woke, but I think people need to be aware of the world around them and how quickly it's changing. Like the next thing you know, it's gonna be like, how do they say, the wool pulled off your, pulled. It's just things are gonna change so quickly. You're not even gonna notice a change, or that you're gonna be left in the dark about a lot of things, and then when it comes to light, you're gonna be fucked. So,
Mm,
you know, I think people need to really focus on more on what's going on around them, the food they're eating, the I wouldn't necessarily say the politics, but watching what they're doing and how to protect yourself as they do those little changes, you know, in our
yeah.
financial world, our food, everything. Things are like they're trying to use so many things to distract us that we don't notice things are happening until shit hits the fan, you know.
Yeah. 'Cause I
I
know with
remember
me.
when Yeah, go on.
No, I know with me, I like bypass so many people's posts whenever they like make like anti-meat posts. I'm like, look, I'm not even gonna get into this right now. You know. Especially when they be like, oh, if you eat a lot of meat, you're constipated. I'm like, I have no problem. And then they'll turn off their comments and stuff. A lot of people been
Mhm.
doing that, turning off their comments because people been coming after them. But I definitely want to say, I'm like, I have no problem with my plumbing, and I eat meat at all.
Mhm.
My plumbing is like clockwork, to say the least. So,
God bless you.
oh,
God
thank
bless
you.
you.
Yes, I pride myself on having, a nice exit strategy.
Yes. You got a good detoxing system. Yes.
Yes, because that's what the organs are made for. They're made to
Yeah, that's what
detox.
they're supposed to do. Exactly.
Yeah,
Nice
they do a
purging
better job
system.
than me. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh man. I'm so glad we got to talk about this. We at 8:59 right now.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Got with over here made some great points about, you know, to look out for what's going on in this world.
Yeah.
We have a repeat of Rockefeller aka now known as Bill Gates, trying
Yeah.
to push a specific agenda. Y'all be careful. I understand that, there's a aspect of veganism where it's like you don't want to eat a living thing. I totally get that.
Hmm.
Just don't mimic a dish of a living thing. That's all.
I'm like, can you imagine? Like they're talking about this GMO. Can you imagine a world where they try to mimic actual vegetables, where we're eating not vegetables, plastics, or
Oh,
some
it's
form
already
of something
coming.
that's edible, and
Oh, it's
that's the thing.
coming.
Is just as comparable. I find it it's comparable to fake meat. Like basically, you're not going to be eating something that's real anymore. And
Yeah.
why would you support something that's not real
Our bodies are
and going
real.
into your body? Exactly. So if we're real bodies, we should be eating real food, real meats, real vegetables, not something that's genetically modified, not something that is altered or has microplastics and
Oh,
you know.
God.
And that's the future we're going into. Next thing you know, we'll be in the matrix and being fed something that we don't even know what it is, and won't even be conscious to even know.
Nope, not me.
Yeah. So we gotta fight that now, so we don't end up being in that
We
position.
got to band together now, people. We got to band
Hmm.
together now.
Yeah. Yep. And the only way to do that is not support it. Yeah. Nothing
Yeah, not
physical.
support at
Just
all. So that means
don't
no
put
support in
your
McDonald's.
dollars. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Don't put your
No,
dollars towards it.
question everything. Might even have to diminish the takeout food that y'all eating because you don't know what they're using. You know,
No. I heard that they're also bringing back what's that stuff they used to put in Chinese food that they said was illegal. They're
MSG.
still they're still using that. Restaurants are
Please,
still using those things.
maybe have an MSG and like all types of packaged stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm
All
saying.
types
Like
of chips and boxed foods. They always had that.
I feel like every time something affects the bottom line, they find some way to wiggle something that they said shouldn't be you know, back into the things that they say that was illegal that you shouldn't use. It's like, oh, you're supposed to keep your distance in the pandemic, but then like, okay, well, we got to get back to work, so really fuck the pandemic, and here we are today. So I just
Mm-hmm.
think when it affects the bottom line, everything that they said was wrong, or it just goes out the window, and then next thing you know, you're eating pink slime and chemically treated potatoes.
Yuck. I'm good.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.
And yes,
It's
point
9:03.
well taken. Point well taken. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we are at the end of our episode, everyone. 29. You know,
Hmm.
I know my vote is I will definitely not be taking no health advice from Bill Gates.
Don't
And
eat the shit.
nope, nope, not at all. Nothing he promotes. Support your local farmers. And let's
Hmm.
grab this comment before we get out of here.
It reminds me of a movie called Logan's Run. There was a robot that was collecting human beings and making meat out of them and fitting it to the living human beings.
Ah.
Oh God, I definitely heard
Okay.
that too. But that's what they put it inside them fast food meat burgers, human
Well,
meats.
it's not like they put it in there. It's just that accidents happen.
Accidents? Oh God. On that note, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Azima, the only. That's Azima, the only. And you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. That's Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
So yeah, that's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Camp Juggle Fit. That is KAMP JOGOFIT. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel at the WINEFINE Podcast, where you can check out all the episodes with all the links included.
Mm-hmm.
And until next time, people, we'll be here next week for episode 30. Y'all
Okay.
peace out. Be
30.
safe.